You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Out of Bounds. You can catch every weekday afternoon from 1 to 4 on 103.7 The Buzz and 103.7thebuzz.com. Today's podcast is brought to you by Rock Auto. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the car parts you'll ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them that Locked On sent you. Podcast is also brought to you by Prize Picks. All you college football fanatics, it's fantasy made easy for college football. It's the leader in college sports daily fantasy, and Prize Picks offers more college football props than anyone in the world and offers the star players of the Power 5 as well as the mid-majors. So the ones you haven't even heard of, they're going to offer those as well. So every one of you that try out Prize Picks today, be sure to use the promo code LOCKEDON and you'll receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Again, just use that promo code Locked On, and you can use the award-winning app on both the App Store and Google Play. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy with Prize Picks. It is safe and offers fast rewards, so don't hesitate today. Check out the prizepicks.com website and use promo code Locked On, or go to your App Store and download the app today. Prize Picks, the daily fantasy made easy. So yesterday, we talked a lot about just the game itself against Texas A&M and Arkansas winning this game and whatnot. And it's pretty impressive just to see how much great things are going on for Arkansas right now. I mean, the amount of national attention that's being paid has been incredible. It's, you got Jalen Catalon going on, Feinbaum, you got everybody in the SEC who's anybody talking about Arkansas right now. So the brand, I should say, of Arkansas right now is really high. And it's great to see, mainly due to the fact that they deserve it. Like, for once, they actually deserve the positive stuff that they're getting and some of the positive press that they're getting. And it made me really think about yesterday, and this was a great clip from Sam Pittman when he was meeting with the media yesterday, when he was asked about his coaching style, because talking about positive branding and positive press, one of the things that Sam Pittman has always said is that the loudest moments in practices needs to be when somebody does something good. And so he's a very positive guy. He's very optimistic and all of that. And it was really fascinating. So I'll go ahead and play the clip for you and the question so that way you get the full context. But a really interesting thing here from Sam Pittman.
I think you said on the game day package last week, the loudest you are at practice is when the team does something good. Is that something you adopted from a coaching role model of yours out of curiosity, or is that just the way you are? Where does that philosophy come from?
It came from when I was younger, when I'd go to other practices and I'd be wowed at what was going on at practice. I don't think you can reach your full potential out of fear. I think you can out of want to. And because if I'm getting ready to take a rep and I'm worried about the coach chewing me out when the rep's going on, then I'm not going to play as well, in my opinion. I may be totally wrong. But if I believe that coach has confidence in me and that he's taught me what to do, I can at least go try at my highest level to complete that task. And that's what I believe. And I also believe that if someone brags on you and somebody else hears it, they want the same thing. And it kind of gets contagious. Now, you guys have been at practice, I get mad and all that, but most of my disappointment is effort. I'm not disappointed if we get whipped. We can teach them how to do better. But effort is what gets me. And if we give effort, we got a chance.
You don't hear a lot of coaches say that. You don't hear a lot of coaches approach the game that way. A lot of times we always just thought that Sam Pittman was just a guy that was just happy to have a job, that really didn't have a philosophy or anything, or, had no type of offense or defense that he liked to run. It was just more like kind of being there and being a coach and managing it. But to put it and hear it that way, it's really interesting and it's impressive because Sam Pittman knows what he wants out of his football team, and he also knows how to get kids to respond in a positive way. Sam Pittman's been around the coaching game for a long time. He always gets this mantra of being this hard-nosed, old-school guy, physical, and all that, which I think there's an element to that of him. But the one thing that I don't think he gets enough credit for is that he is extremely fine and understanding and all of that of just going along with what the newest age in college football is, and instead of trying to resist it, embracing it. When he was first hired, he could have easily hired his buddy Jim Chaney. He could have done that as the offensive coordinator because that's what he was comfortable with. But he didn't. He knew that offenses that Jim Chaney ran and had run is no longer the thing to do. So he hires this new and up-and-coming offensive coordinator in Kendall Briles, and we see the results of it. He understands that kids these days don't respond and aren't the same that they were 20 or even 30 years ago. They're not the guys that you can just scream at and yell at to get the most out of them. It's different. Whether you like it or not, it's different. You have to be able to just not coddle them, but be positive with them. Let them know that, hey, I'm not here to make you mad. I'm not here to make you scared. I'm here to help you. And I don't want to do that, and I want to show that when you do something good, it's a great thing. And I want to give you that benefit. But the line that he said in that clip that I think stood out to me and so many others so much was the fact that he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, you can't get the most out of somebody through fear. You can't be the best person, best player, best human, whatever, out of fear. And that is an incredible line that is so true. And once again shows that Sam Pittman gets it. He gets it. He gets the coaching aspect. Coaching is helping, is training, is building up, is making better. That's what coaching is. And you do that by actually helping and coaching and building up. And you can't do that as effectively or to get the most out of them by instilling fear. Now, everyone responds differently. Some people play better when they got some guy yelling in their face. Some do. But a lot of players just want to be liked and want to be respected and want to be built up because they feel like that's when they are at their best too. And so to hear Sam Pittman talk about that and say that is a pretty awesome thing. And, again, I don't know how good he's going to be as a head coach. He's really off to a good start right now. But hearing something as simple as that shows me that he's a guy that understands what this coaching thing is all about. We'll talk a little bit more about Arkansas and Georgia coming up this weekend, but I want to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. So save time and money when you use rockauto.com. It's a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years, and Rock Auto prices are reliably low for every customer. So go and explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution for your auto parts needs. And you can write Locked On in the How Did You Hear About Us box so that they know that we here at Locked On sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the car parts you'll ever need at rockauto.com.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily Arkansas Razorbacks podcast.
All right, yesterday it was kind of cool to see some of the things come out about Arkansas and, some of the awards being handed out, like, for instance, Traylon Burks being the co-offensive player of the week in the SEC, but Trey Williams being the just a monster. He was an absolute monster Saturday in that game where, he caused so many problems, it was almost stupid. It was almost stupid. But either way, it was good to see that Trey Williams got Defensive Lineman of the Week and also Traylon Burks get co-offensive player of the week, even though we don't have to get into a debate about co-players. That's fine. But still, Trey Williams has really come along, and he's really been a beast. And it's funny that Missouri didn't feel like they needed him or wanted him or anything like that. But it's like these are the things that I started thinking about yesterday. And, I think we even maybe talked about it on the podcast that, you see a lot of players on this team that before the season started or even at this point in time right now, you don't see them as bona fide NFL players. But it makes me wonder if because of some great play from this year, from these individuals, will they be able to find themselves in a position to be in the NFL, whether it's getting drafted or getting signed or whatnot? Is Trey Williams one of those guys? He might be. I mean, he honestly might be. And when it comes down to it, when it comes to the future of Arkansas and the success that they could have under Sam Pittman and all of that, recruiting is king, as we all know. It's the most important thing. And Sam Pittman knows that, and he wants to have a great coaching staff that's able to come in and recruit at a high level. Like, that's what's most important. So the fact is that when you are able to win, that gets the attention, or I should say the curiosity, of a lot of these players. But when you start to win and be able to put players in the NFL, that's when you get the attention of some of these recruits. That's when you start to say, all right, why wouldn't I go to Arkansas as a big-time player? They win, which is, I like winning. Winning's fun. And they help put guys in the NFL. I want to go to the NFL. I want to be there. So why not Arkansas? Like, those are the little small things that can really help out. And I think that when we're all looking at this Razorback football team right now and why they're so good, it's because they're well coached. That's because they have a lot of senior leadership and all that. And they have talent. So I'm not trying to say they're devoid of talent. But it makes you wonder that if Arkansas was able to get some of these high caliber level players like we see other schools in the SEC get, these 5-star defensive linemen or linebackers or whatever, if they were able to get those highly talented guys in here as well, that would open doors for more highly talented guys to say, hey, I want to go to Arkansas because I want to play with that guy. It's like just a slippery slope of, how much you can bring in as far as recruiting goes and how successful you can be. That's the kind of aspect I like about what Arkansas is trying to build right now, is that they're trying to put things together and building a foundation of a strong program that people want to be a part of. Like, I don't see this thing that's going on with Arkansas, and maybe this is where a lot of the excitement comes from all you Razorback fans. I don't see this thing for Arkansas being just a shot or flash in the pan, and that's it after this year. Like, I'm not to say that they will be better next year than they were this year. We don't know. Time will tell. We'll see how it all goes. But what I am saying is that people aren't dumb. Like, fans, we like to say they're dumb, but fans aren't dumb. Fans can have a good grasp of reality on whether or not something is real or something is fake, whether something's actually being built or something's actually, what is it, the old adage goes, that cream rises and crap floats. Like, people can understand the differences between that. Razorback fans see this as a building. This isn't just a little, like, temporary structure that's being held up by toothpicks and will fall at any second. And you just are hoping that you can keep it going as long as you can. Like, that's not how it's being viewed right now. How it's being viewed is this right now is something being built on strong foundations that is sustainable as long as you have the right people in place. And so when you build this program up and you have it put onto strong structure and all of that, people are going to start to believe in it, and people are going to say, well, I want to go and be a part. I want to go and stay in that house. I want to go and live on that castle because I know that everything underneath me is going to be strong. And I know that I'm going to have a good life by being a part of that. Like, that's what's being built right here. So I am going to be very fascinated to see what the recruiting numbers are going to look like going forward. I don't know if it's going to be, top 5. That'd be awesome if it ends up being that way. But I would say that just the fact that, you're gaining attention of people, of high-level recruits, and you're doing it the right way and doing it in a way that people are respecting it and seeing it, and you're getting the accolades that you thought you should be getting at this point in time, like, things feel good. Things feel good. And I think recruits are going to respond positively to that. So it's up to Sam Pittman and his staff to keep it going. But right now, you got to like where you're at and the position that you're in. We got to tell you about betonline.ag because it's back and better than ever. We know that football is all about it right now. And as always, BetOnline is your number one spot for the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 100% welcome bonus using promo code LOCKEDON. That's promo code LOCKEDON. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the easiest and fastest way to bet on all your favorite sports, so go check out betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily Arkansas Razorbacks podcast.
All right, final segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I want to look at just a little bit about Georgia and some of the stuff going on with them, as we'll have more coverage and more talking about Georgia and all the things going on with them as well. But somebody sent this to me. A friend of mine texted me this, and it just threw out a few stats. And it was really fascinating to see, just kind of putting things in perspective just as far as numbers go. Because there's a lot of people out there that may still not feel 100% comfortable in saying that Arkansas is a great team, or that Georgia's a great or a bad, not as good as what they see or whatnot. But here's just some numbers. Here's some facts to make you kind of think about the perspective and maybe give you at least a little bit of glimmer of hope in believing that the Razorbacks could have a chance of actually upsetting Georgia on the road this weekend. So here's a couple of things I wanted to point out. Georgia, of course, is undefeated, number 2 team in the country. But their opponents' offensive ratings and yards per game this year out of 130 teams. These are the rankings for their opponents when it comes to their offensive numbers so far this year. At 79th UAB, at 116th South Carolina, at 121 Clemson, and at 123 Vanderbilt. That is not, I know obviously those numbers may be skewed because it's like, oh, they went against Georgia in one of those games. But still, these teams played 3 other games for the most part. Most of them played against lesser teams, and their offense still sucks. Like, their offenses are not good. Arkansas's offense is better than any of those teams right there, right now. So that will be the biggest task for this Georgia team, which got a daunting defense, which we hear about, and I'm not taking anything away from them. That's 100% true. But that is definitely something that you have to put in perspective and saying, okay, well, maybe, just maybe, the defense of Georgia is good, but can be exploited a little bit. Maybe can be put in a bad way by Arkansas and what they have going on as well. And here's another stat for you. When Arkansas beat Texas, some people were saying, well, Texas just ain't any good. They're not any good. They're terrible. That's awful. It's, you don't even want to do anything with it, whatever. Here's a stat for you. Texas has the number 7 rushing offense in the country. 267 yards per game. And the number 18 total offense at 487 yards per game. Bijan Robinson is averaging 109 yards per game, and that's this season. Now, if you want to put that into perspective, when Arkansas played Texas, and you hear those numbers and where they rank and everything, Texas is averaging 311 yards rushing per game in 3 games, and against Arkansas, they had 138. 138 yards. So Texas is really good at rushing the ball. Texas is really good at offense. They got the number 18 offense in the country, according to the numbers. And Arkansas completely and totally stuffed them when they played earlier this year. These are the things that I look at, and I start to think and start to say and start to question, maybe Arkansas can actually beat Georgia. Maybe Arkansas can actually pull off the upset in Athens. And maybe, just maybe, if Arkansas does pull off that upset, they will get the respect that they deserve. People will start to believe in that they're a legitimate team. And maybe, just maybe, they'll be in the college football playoff landscape after starting the season 5-0. I know it's crazy. I know it's wild. And all of that. I get it. But just know that according to the numbers and according to Vegas, Arkansas, the Razorbacks, right now are 75-1 in the odds when it comes to winning the college football playoff. 75-1. Before the season starts, they were 500-1. 75-1. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not too far of a stretch to think that Arkansas can win this weekend. They just got to go out and do their game and play their game. But we'll see how it goes on Saturday in Athens. But man, don't want to look ahead. Don't want to start thinking about it. But could you imagine how great this is going to be if Arkansas actually ends up beating the Georgia Bulldogs? Appreciate everybody listening into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have. We'll keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily Arkansas Razorbacks podcast.